had at Coastline. The map pools line up pretty similarly. I'm liking this so far, especially EG starting on the defense. It gives them a second to kind of settle in and see what Space Station can create.
Yeah, it makes sense. Space Station picking attack. This is a attacker-favored map. You know, some teams find more success attacking, some teams find better success on defense, but it's really just a team's preference. The Jackal being banned, no surprise there. Let's see what they ban on defense.
Wow.
And a Valkyrie, just eliminating that information. Very powerful operator on this map, so it's a makes sense.
Those two attacking operators open up for a lot of roam potential on Coastline. A map that maybe rotations aren't the best because of so much visibility from rooftops and windows on rappel, but losing a Jackal for tracking location and a Nomad for discrete flank denial, that leaves you a Gridlock as kind of your option, your only option for flank denial. This could be a very fluid and flexible defense here for Evil Geniuses in all rounds. And Gio, I think you might have mistyped your name.
Did he?
Chase 6 Eometrics.
Yeah,
I love it.
That looks. He loves changing his name though.
He loves it though.
Lion coming out for Space Station. I'm wondering if they're going to 6-pick or stay on the Lion.
Don't know. We lose the Maestro and the Valkyrie in the ban phase as well for the defenders. I'm kind of liking the defense's opportunities on this one, especially keeping the Echo up, especially keeping Mozzie up. I mean, this is a lot of intel still going to be gathered on the defensive side, and the mobility, the freedom of mobility, not having a Jackal or Nomad bearing down on you. I think that's going to open things wide open here for Evil Geniuses to start off with some maybe a little aggressive play to kick things off here on map number 1.
Interesting operator that I have not seen yet since I've casted. Echo has officially made it through the ban phase, and we're going to Kitchen. So this is going to be a good lineup for Evil Geniuses with their operator picks. They've got Mozzie to help deny the droning, also will help with information. Echo with the information, but Space Station ready for it. Going to counter that with the IQ.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, no big surprise here. Whenever there's an Echo up, even with a Valkyrie ban, we mentioned it during the phase in Sonic's game, you're going to be locking that IQ in 24/7. We're going to see an IQ all 12 rounds of regulation, and all 15 rounds shouldn't require overtime. There's not going to be a whole lot of changing that up. So you got one operator locked in. It looks like it's going to be Thinking Nade to start things off on that. Rampy taking a buck. That's an operator who doesn't typically play all that often, but of course now you've got Canadian on Ash on entry. So that duo between them has been reportedly one of the most phenomenal duos on entry and on roam on defense that we've seen for this entire event. I'm looking to see that come to fruition here as well.
Yeah, Rampy definitely has played Buck before in the past, but you're right, he had to move back onto that role and let Canadian fill the shoes of the Ash. But from what we've seen here at this event, it does not hurt them. Gio with the first pick on to Canadian. I think he just ran out.
Oh boy, and the plant's going down from Faults here, being smoked out. The asphyxiating bolts in tandem as well. He's going to press right up against the Greats. Rampy will filling in the Yokai, disorienting Rampy as well as he hits the deck, trying to pull out a frag grenade, a trade there, as Necrox will take down Rampy, but an immediate headshot onto Young from Bosco from the front door. Fault's worried about anyone from up above, and there's two members down inside the lobby. Bosco picks off one for his second one of the round, and we equalize now. There goes NVK, so you've lost your Echo, you've lost your Yokais inside of sight. The attempted quick plant coming in there from Space Station, repelled early by EG.
Yeah, a quick early on rush from Space Station. They saw a hole in Evil Genius's setup. They went to go for a quick rush, a quick plant. Unfortunately, the run out from Gio, I think, slowed them down. That was Canadian on the Ash. He was going to come from a different angle, and right there it stops, and we stall, and Space Station Evil Geniuses are at a stalemate right now.
It was funny. Former IGL of the team gets killed by the current IGL of the team, and a lot of rumors going around after Raleigh about the both of them. So ironic that that's the opening kill, and I imagine we're going to see many more storylines just like it as we progress on. Bosco's now rotated into Blue Bar, using X-Kairos on the soft wall into Courtyard, so scrambling a little bit here at Space Station. Not really sure where the direction is supposed to be going, and everyone's kind of separating out a lot as well.
Space Station choosing not to go up top because they made that rush. Since they don't have that top control, they chose to rotate to Sunrise Bar. It allows them to gain a little bit of control, but it's not needed to gain that top control for a successful plant. So this makes sense from Space Station, but Mo, they gotta watch out. Mo with the first pick, or Mo with the pick onto Thinking Nade, and the bomb is going down actually from SSG. No one from Evil Geniuses is ready to stop it.
Oh, big reaction.
Oh, and out of
there.
nowhere.
There goes Mo coming down the cool vibe stairs. Crucial flank for him in his first game against Space Station here at this event. And for Evil Geniuses, they start things off with round number 1 countering that rush plant attempt from Space Station.
I am excited about this match. I keep saying it, but just the guts that Space Station had to throw a rush in their first round goes to show you that they're here to play. Unfortunately, the rush did not work, but if Canadian stayed alive and Geo didn't get that kill, that round could have gone either way.
Absolutely, and I think that's Geo reading into a lot of what Troy does, and sorry, I'm using his first name again, Canadian. For Geo to be able to do that, I mean, there's going to be tendencies that Canadian will have that everyone on the side of Evil Geniuses, barring Mo, will understand like the back of their hand. They played with them for 3 years, at least the core did on the left-hand side of your screen, of Young, Necrox, and NVK. The three of them are going to know, even though the strat might be different, Canadian will still have tendencies that he likes to run in his play style that might be able to be read. On the flip side of that, Canadian's going to know the same thing about everyone else except for Mo. So there's a lot of intel going back and forth. Bosco at 3 on the round on the Hibana last time and starting things off pretty well. For Evil Geniuses now, they transition off of a kitchen defense that was successful, and they head up to Hookah and billiards on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it. There's just none of these players want to lose this matchup. This is such a huge match for both teams. We have an invitational spot on the line as well. What better way to battle test both of these teams than to play each other with these current roster changes? I see Evil Geniuses bringing out a mute, so they're going to be denying some of these walls and the droning. Space Station does not have a Thatcher, so they might run into an issue. And on top of that, Evil Geniuses have stacked Amazi, so there's a lot of drone denial here to slow down Space Station's droning. And that's a key core fundamental for Space Station.
Absolutely. So, pretty similar to what we were seeing at a Reciprocity yesterday on Coastline. This spread spawned in on Coastline for Space Station as well. Everyone kind of taking their own angle to get to the eventual end goal. Canadian with a quick entry in towards Office, spotting out a Mozzie drone, I'm assuming. Not sure what he shot on the ground.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, actually.
I'm really praying it wasn't an Echo drone that was left over there on the ground before Young did.
It was either an Echo or a Mozzie drone. It was one of the two. If it's an Echo drone, that's unfortunate for Evil Geniuses, losing that early on and having that information completely stripped away from you. But you do have two, so it's not the end of the world, but it is unfortunate.
Big roll swaps here for Canadian, or sorry, not for Canadian, for Thinking Nate and Bosco. Bosco will now take up the mantle of the IQ because Hibana is required. And Thinking Nade's over to a Lion now, so good flexibility here. Bosco taking a little bit of damage out on the balcony as he's got 2 members inside of Hookah trying to contest the entry from the door, and Space Station very Hookah-centric on their focus right now. Bucking from underneath will be Rampy. The succeeding bolt comes out from Fultz, and we talked about the pacing of Space Station. Well, they seem to enjoy the quickened pace that Canadian brings on his IGLing ability. Geo being torched a little bit and shot a little bit from down below, looking down, the Skeleton Key firing upwards, and Rampy will collect the first kill of the round onto Geo. So he will perish inside of Hookah. 2 members downstairs flanking for Evil Geniuses now as NVK pushes up the kitchen hallway, drones abound, and the ball have to bail, but Rampy with a beautiful shot to the kitchen wall.
Yeah, I mean, right here, Space Station clearing down below. They might be trying to go for a Hookah take. They have a lot of pressure and a lot of downstairs presence, and then you also have a lot of bodies on this Hookah balcony. It looks clear to me that Space Station might be going for a Hookah take, but they could rotate depending on these kills. Necrox
between a rock and a hard place there, and Canadian will pick up the kill onto his former teammate. Now pushing up the cool vibe stairs. Another one bursting through. Young with the bearing in hand. The plant going down from Fultz right on his reinforcement. Canadian shuts him down for 1, and Rampy lines him up for 3 on the round of his own. Mo will fall as the last man standing for Evil Geniuses, and Space Station, they quickly equalize.
Great control from Space Station, going down below, eliminating the threat. Rampy got 2 crucial kills down below, and that opened up the hole for them to push on into Hookah. Great plays from Space Station that round, and a completely different round than what we saw the very first round.
Smiles abound there for the Space Station gaming roster as Canadian collects the team, calms the team. That presence for Canadian in terms of communications is always a double-edged sword. He can be extremely calming in times when things need to be refocused, but man, can he get hype as well and really bring the energy elevated to another level in the room.
Yeah, and what team doesn't want that energy brought to the team? I mean, it does so much mentally for the players. It hypes them up. It gets them ready for the next round. And for these games that go the distance, you need to be able, it's not a sprint, it is a marathon. You got to be able to last through these long games. So bringing Canadian on the roster with that energy and the hypeness that he brings is perfect for this roster.
Looking to reattempt upstairs, and Hookah and Billiards will be evil geniuses on the defense. That attempted flank downstairs for Mo and NVK really did not work out. Rampy just having a field day inside of Sunrise, blasting up to the floor with the skeleton key to get rid of Geo and removing anyone trying to anchor inside of Hookah. And the tandem of the timing of the push there for two members to rip up Cool Vibes, was Canadian and Rampy push up Cool Vibes as soon as the asphyxiating bolt from Fultz hit the door frame and push Necrox out. I really like that coordination from Space Station. Like we said, a team that's only really been together with this full 5-man roster for about a week now.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams with current roster changes, and they have a lot to learn. And even though you swap one player that does a lot to a team, there's a lot to learn from both sides. So, you know, you got to be patient when making these massive roster changes. And right now, it seems like both teams are just comfortable. But let's go back to the matchup. You notice how NVK is putting the Mozzie drones down below in kitchen. It looks like he might be trying to either slow down the drones, or he's just trying to maybe have a little bit of control, or maybe someone else is playing down there. But they definitely are trying to slow down the droning for Space Station. And right now, it doesn't seem like it's affecting Space Station that much.
No, the drones were still there in full force to protect Rampy when he was downstairs. He was a lone buck downstairs in Sunrise. Not something you see every day. Typically, you'll have someone protecting you in that case. But the drones abound for Space Station, really collecting all the information that you possibly ask for. And for Rampy to have that much safety and feel that much comfort, and the flank to be denied without a Jackal or a Nomad, it's really impressive to see from Space Station. Like you said, the droning just has not been slowed down much.
Yeah, and the switch up here from Space Station, this is the exact same bomb site from last round. This round, Space Station choosing to go through VIP, so this is going to be an Aquarium plant for Space Station. They just got to make sure that no one is down below in office ready to C4 them if they go into Aquarium or if they go for the plant. But as long as there's no C4s down below, Space Station's going to be able to take Aquarium pretty easily.
Yeah, Rampy pushing in through luggage with an upside down repel from Fultz. Sprays will give away the location, and a wide swinging Young will get one onto Rampy before being immediately traded by Fultz. You would imagine Fultz would have his cover there, but nonetheless, they walk away with the trade. All you really lose there is the opportunity for frag grenades. EUD will detonate Canadian. No idea that this is remembered by the entry door. It's Geo outsmarting Canadian once again, and then a team kill from Fultz on a thinking nade. Oh, it's all falling apart now for Space Station as Evil Geniuses looking to bounce back.
Yeah, this round's all over the place right now. There was also a missed C4 from Evil Geniuses, so that's one C4 off the board. Still one more. Space Station, though, a 2-man disadvantage. I don't know if they're going to be able to bring this one back, but Evil Geniuses, just a solid trade game, and I really liked the aggressiveness from Young while they were pushing through luggage. Just kind of shutting that down, and even though you sometimes you lose those gunfights, you got to get aggressive in Aquarium.
Now it's down to Fultz and Bosco, both pushing separate angles with just under 30 seconds ticking away against them. The clock is their enemy and their utility is their enemy. A lot of it has already been used in the attempted push into the site, but that team kill really killed the momentum for Space Station. Fultz trying to solo push his way in through Aquarium, and Bosco on the Hookah balcony. They're running extremely low on time. Necrox playing close up behind the benches inside of Hookah. Fultz with one though onto Geo. The sprays back and forth, but NPK has the cover. Fultz with another one now. 3 on the round for him, whipping the corner. He's got 2 on either side of him, whipping back and forth with the pistol, but it's Mo to save Necrox once again. Necrox on the smoke having some difficulties controlling that wild buck of an SMG-11, but he's got friends with him, and it works out for Evil Geniuses. They play the trade game beautifully, and they get the round.
Yeah, crazy round for both teams. Even though Evil Geniuses was able to come out with that round, I think we saw a team kill come out from Space Station, and that just that hurts your momentum sometimes, especially when you're trying to go in and take that control into Aquarium. It's unlucky for Space Station, not the end of the world. Great round for your EG though, and wow, this is we're in for a ride.
3 rounds deep, and this is already one of the most explosive games that we've seen so far, I must say. This is quite the incredible matchup thus far, going back and forth, and I don't imagine the seesaw will end its rotations anytime soon. We now turn our attention back towards kitchen and service, as it has been a couple rounds since EG played it, and we're victorious on it, repelling that rush plant into service. We'll see if Space Station can come up with a different ideology for how to take this, maybe some more top control involved, because there was a pretty hefty roaming contingent upstairs for Evil Geniuses, and for Space Station to completely ignore that, fail the rush in, and then have to recover from that, it killed a lot of their time.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and notice how Rampy is on the buck. I wouldn't be surprised if they do go for an actual top clear here. The rush, one of those kind of one-time things you want to bring to the table, but not something that you're going to continue to try and pull off. So I see with that buck, they're going to take that top control, get into penthouse, start opening up the holes, and that would make the most sense with the utility that they're bringing.
The rotation in terms of operator. Geo was playing the mute previously on this site, but they've abandoned the mute. Now Geo will play the Echo. He's still got the Mozzie Pest going around for NGK. And widespread roaming on the bottom floor this time around for Evil Geniuses. So not trying to get too predictable. They've left Mo alone upstairs right now inside of theater.
Here we go. SSG spawning on the Sunrise bar. They might actually enter through Sunrise, but Thinking Nate, he lost almost all of his health. That might have been a spawn peek. Just wasn't able to confirm the kill. I'm not exactly sure who was shooting at him, but is it MVK? MVK, I'm getting confirmation that it was MVK. Wasn't able to confirm the kill. Nate is still on the board, but it is unfortunate that he lost all of his health.
Peeking out of that Sunrise window in towards Big Window in the Ruin spawn, and NVK nearly got away with quite the sly one there. But Thinking Nate will escape on 1 HP, and the last time you and I casted a game on Coastline, we saw a lot of situations between Reciprocity and Chaos where members of both of those sides were escaping on 1 HP. So Thinking Nate still has his utility, still has a gun, but it's going to be a game of Protect the President now, as you don't want him to get involved in any kind of crossfire or any stray bullet through a wall.
Evil Geniuses coming out with the first kill. MVK with a kill on to Thinking Nate. So it looks like they're going to be holding up top penthouse and theater. I don't know if Space Station's going to go for this clear, but it might cause a little bit of an issue if Space Station does want to get that top control. And if they want to get a bomb plant down in kitchen, which that's the direction they may go now, someone's going to have to get up onto the VIP balcony and make sure no one's peeking through those beams to stop the plant. So let's see exactly where Space Station goes with this push.
Yeah, it looks like, again, they tried this top clear. They tried to get into the building, but NVK was enough of a presence on his own to repel that. And now, again, they've amassed themselves outside the windows and doorways of the first floor, just beyond the reaches of the objective. So we're turning our attention back towards another kitchen window jump-in for Space Station, and that's a little worrisome. Rampy has made it up to that VIP balcony that he talked about. The 65 seconds tick away, and time will be the enemy of Space Station.
Yeah, it looks here with Canadian rotating and Rampy playing up top that they're trying to get a little bit of that control, but a lot of the Space Station players just keep rotating around the map. It's like they don't know exactly how or where they want to push, and losing Thinking Nate early definitely hurt them with that spawn peak. It is unfortunate, but Space Station now switching it up and going back to the Panther side.
Coil Shield covering Geo as he turns his attention away from the service door. Canadian will send a breaching charge in, but Rampy finally able to equalize Mancat onto NVK roaming upstairs. This top presence could still be rather disruptive in the midst of a plant attempt here from Rampy, just skeleton keying open the floor while everyone on EG tries to stall out the plant. Another one for Bosco now, as suddenly it's turned on its head, and Space Station looked well in control. Shots to the soft wall from Young won't land, and the asphyxiating bolt doing half the damage onto Geo, but he lands a nasty shot onto Bosco. There goes the head of the IQ, and down through the wall in the midst of a plant attempt will be Fault. Canadian taking damage as well, kills off Young before Geo takes him down. Canadian on a rampage now, and it's Mo alone, being pinched from both sides, and SSG able to cobble that one back together.
Just look at the patience coming from Space Station. It looked like they were all over the place, but they were really just deciding the direction they wanted to go, and it looked like it confused Evil Geniuses. You know, they got the calls that someone's back delivery, then they get the calls that someone is Sunrise. They don't necessarily know exactly the direction they want to go, which I think kind of threw off EG, and that's the patience that Space Station has. They're really assessing the situation, finding the roamers, and then they make that execute and they pounce, and if you're not ready for it, it can really catch you off guard.
Well, for Space Station there, that was a rather chaotic round, and it looked like it was lacking a lot of direction for the first 2.5 minutes, and then finally the call came, bail into sight and see how many you can take with you. And for Canadian, it worked out well, and Rampy and Bosco also getting involved there. And man, EG just unable to weather the storm of that absolute massacre onto the objectives from all angles, and Space Station able to equalize the scoreline here. Thinking Nade's had a rough go of things so far. It seems like there's 9 players involved in the game right now, but it's only been 4 rounds, and it's the best of 3. There's plenty of time for Nade to get back into things, and Evil Geniuses are going to reattempt the kitchen site.
Evil Geniuses going back to the kitchen. We have the Echo. I think this is almost the same identical lineup that we saw last time, so not much has changed. That tells me maybe Evil Geniuses thought that they played the round pretty well and just kind of made a few mistakes here and there that ended up throwing the round, so really not that big of a deal. And on top of that, Evil Geniuses is on defense. A lot of people consider this map an attacker-favored map. You have a lot of control in how the map is played out when you play it on attack. So not too big of a worry for Evil Geniuses. It's unfortunate that they lost that last round. It looked like they had it, but this match is exactly what I expected.
Once again for Space Station, amassing around the service entry. There's 3 members now, Thinking Nate, Bosco, and Rampy, all stacking outside of that service door. But it looks like, again, their attention will turn to attempt an entry topside. Try and get some top control. Start displacing some of these anchors. They have a 2-man roam to contend with in Mo and NVK. Ooh, just narrowly bailing out the doorway. Mo evading bullets like Neo in the Matrix. And he's able to make it to the top of the Cool Vibe stairs safely.
So here's the VIP push that we were talking about. Space Station switching to the VIP push, gaining that top control, and then utilizing that buck to create the holes from down below. The key here is how efficiently can SSG clear out these roamers, and what type of issues are Evil Geniuses going to bring to the table to stop SSG from taking that control.
Looks like they've done a decent job of cordoning off NVK and Mo towards the top of Cool Vibes and Billiards, but there's still a lot of visibility from those 2 areas into VIP, and you can still cause a lot of havoc, especially if Rampy or anyone going for some soft destruction onto the floor is a little distracted looking down instead of looking around the surroundings to make sure they're not being aggressed upon.
Rampy going ahead and making these holes, see if he can catch anybody off guard or at least cut off the rotates. Very, very strong use of utility. This is pretty standard. You guys know this. And if he can get a pick here, this could be huge for Space Station, but you really just have to get lucky with timing here. Like sometimes the players are going to be running back and forth, and if you get that pick, that's a huge win for Space Station, but they have that top control, so they're just going to do their due diligence, clear out the holes, make sure no one's sitting in these corners, and then SSG can start focusing on the plan.
Necrox was feeling the burn there for a minute from Rampy with that skeleton key, so he's dropped down to about 80 HP, and he had to burn one of his toxic babes inside the first 2 minutes. Not typical, but he wanted to disrupt the visibility of Rampy and escape to safety, and he's done such that. Canadian also losing about half of his health now, just looking down through these kill holes, so it seems that Necrox is, while trying to disrupt visibility upon himself, not afraid to get back into the fight.
Yeah, notice how Evil Geniuses have kind of scattered their bodies over to the Sunrise Bar Hookah side. They've kind of regained a different aspect of the map. They do not have the penthouse and theater control, but they have extended into Sunrise. That's why you see Geo running out looking for picks. Let's see if they can get a pick, and let's see how SSG executes this.
Oh, Necrox dumping everything he's got left at the service door and rushing through the fire and the flames. Plant going down, but Necrox has perfect visibility, thinking Nate on the trade onto Young, but they need to get a diffuser plant going down immediately. 9 seconds left, ticking away. MVK tacks on with another one, looking out the Lamborghini door. Sprays wildly through, and Necrox downs off another one. Canadian on the trade. It's a flurry of kills now. Canadian with 2, but the diffuser is not going down. Geo, last man standing, perseveres on time, and EG take the lead once again.
Wow, this matchup is so close, and time is the downfall right now for SSG. They're just getting they're going too slow, I think, on these executes, and they're just losing by time. I mean, it's been, what, 2 or 3 rounds where it's come down to the wire, and it's gone, you know, in SSG's favor, and then it's also gone in EG's favor. And unfortunately, that round right there, EG was able to take it, and we're going to round 6.
Heading into the last round of the first half here for Evil Geniuses on their defensive stand. We head to Hookah and Billiards now as the final site. So we're only going to see 2 bomb sites being played here for Evil Geniuses on the defense on Coast, unless we head to overtime. But the last time Space Station attacked this, a lot of Hookah focus, and then it kind of fell apart off of a team kill and some mistimed aggression into the objective.
Yeah, we're just going to go back to the site that shows Evil Geniuses is just kind of comfortable with it, and they're going to stick with it. Same lineup, not much of a change-up. Still stacking the C4s. Last time, I think somebody from EG missed a C4, but they still won the round, and that's really all that matters here. The question is, how is Space Station going to attack this bomb site? They've had 2 different pushes, so EG just needs to be prepared and expect both.
So for Space Station, not a lot of role swapping here in terms of operators. Same thing for Evil Geniuses, standing pretty pat. Geo gets back on the mute, so they abandon the Echo, which last time around defending this site didn't have a whole lot of effect, but give Geo an ACOG and you're going to see some fireworks. For Evil Geniuses on this one, they have the chance now to extend, starting on the defensive half on a pretty balanced to attacker-sided map slightly. To take a 4-2 lead starting on D, that'd be massive for Evil Geniuses in the first map here.
Yeah, everyone says it is, attacker-sided, but really, I think it's a preference, how the teams play it, and it comes down to the matchups, too. A lot of teams play this map really differently, so depending on the team that you're playing also determines how strong the attack and defense really is. Canadian, though, he's going to enter into Penthouse. They might go for another Aquarium plant here. I think I noticed 2 people roaming down below, possibly 3. If there's a C4 in Kitchen, he could catch Canadian off guard, so we just got to be careful here.
A couple of drones now going to spot out Mo on the theater stairs. He's going to evacuate, and you were right. There are now 3 members. There goes that Nitro Cell soaring from MVK, but it will not do a single hit point of damage to any of the members of Space Station. So taking flight was the Nitro, but Bosco will set Necrox to rest outside on the Hookah balcony. So there goes your smoke extremely early for Evil Geniuses. Not the best start for them, but they still have a huge roaming contingent downstairs to be able to flank throughout the map. And even if Space Station has taken map control, you never know how quickly that can disappear with this many roamers.
Yeah, it's unfortunate losing your smoke that early on. It does great work for slowing down that plant. But Evil Geniuses still have utility on the board. They have 1 more C4 left. But with that being said, Rampy eliminating Young. That's the Legion off the board, and Rampy's just going to go in and take control of the site. Fultz is going to go with the plant. It's a 2v5 situation, and one of the C4s is officially gone, making this a 2v5. They've got to rotate and flank.
Trying to push up through luggage, but thinking they will shut that down on the brink of a flawless round here. Mo fighting for the rest of his life. He's able to down off Rampy, but it will be a flawless round for Space Station to equalize at the half. Bosco going huge, and Evil Geniuses, with that roaming presence, they lose their site players way too early, and the retake unsuccessful.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Necrox died early that round, being the smoke player. Super important for slowing down those quick pushes. And good call from Rampy as well. Once he saw that he had the green light, he went for it and took that control, and that's what you need. No hesitation. Rampy pushed in, Fultz went down with the bomb, and it was just a clean overall round for Space Station. But still, Evil Geniuses taking 3 rounds on defense, that's a win in my book.
Absolutely. Able to split the half dead even. Geo flexing the Montaigne, but he's going to switch over to the Twitch. As much as I said give him an ACOG on defense and you'll see some fireworks, you give that man an F2 and we're going to be in for a wild ride. Instead, he's going to go over to the IQ. You're worried about the Echo. Fultz is going to lock that in, not change anything up, but Thinking Nade's going to head over to the mute, imping a little bit of what we saw from EG on their defense.
Yeah, and it looks like Geo finally made up his mind, went to the Twitch, so that'll be good for getting some denial. He made it at the last second. He had the IQ and he ended up switching it. I guess thinking, hey, let me bring Twitch. It's going to be a little bit more powerful this round, but it could be a problem if that Echo is still up on the board when they go for that plant towards the end of the round.
Absolutely. We saw that screwing with SSG's first attacking round when they tried to go in for that immediate service push, and the Yokai drones giving away all the intel they could ever desire, and pings and disorientations to members laying prone inside of service, just kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So both the Echo drones now will be stacked towards this service side, waiting for Evil Geniuses on the attack to try and replicate a little bit from what they saw from Space Station. Interesting difference between the 2 squads. Space Station not running the Mozzie as much as Evil Geniuses were on the defense.
Which is interesting because we definitely have seen Space Station bring the Mozzie in the past, Rampy being that player to take that role. And denying any type of information is very crucial for the defending team, and it really slows down that attack. With a team like Evil Geniuses, it makes sense bringing the mute to slow a little bit of that droning, but Rampy is going to be actually on the Legion, so that's still information. It's a different type of information, but having those Legion mines go off when people are rotating up staircases, going through doorways, makes sense to me. So I think it's still a good pick. It really just depends how Evil Genius is going to take this.
Quick entry from MVK on the buck into Aquarium, but he's solo, and Canadian reads that like an open book. There goes NVK. He's got no one in the same zip code to try and go for a trade, and now it's Mo pushing in alone upstairs, trying to push through the opposite side now into Hookah. You got multiple members for Space Station top side ready to bear down on him.
Yeah, it's unfortunate losing your buck that early on. He's able to make those rotates and clear up a lot of the wood that's blocking some of these corners that the players are sitting at. So that's unfortunate, but it is not the end of the round. The key here is Evil Geniuses need map control. So because they like doing split pushes, it's easy for Space Station to capitalize on these individual players pushing in, and we just saw that there, losing NVK. No one was there to trade him out, and they lost a player because of it.
Much like Evil Geniuses in their old stack and their ability to swap on a dime considering a push, we've got another swap coming out here for EG on the attack without Canadian as their IGL, just transitioning towards a pure service take. Canadian side of Aquarium, and Mo's going to read that one, the newcomer, beating the former member in the gunfight straight up and now being chased down by an Echo drone. Let's patch that as well. So a little bit of top control established over by Hookah. Outside of the kitchen window, Thinking Nade, still inside of VIP, causing a nuisance for anyone trying to enter in for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, Rampy's up here. He's supporting Nade. They know that top control is crucial, especially if they're going to go for a kitchen plant. Geo with the kill on default. I think he rotated from possibly front door or bathroom. I'm not exactly sure where he got fault. Geo with a two-piece out of nowhere, and this puts Evil Geniuses back on top. The key here is Space Station still has top control, but if they don't plant kitchen, it doesn't matter.
Young trying to go for a plant right now, but he's being constantly spotted by this Yokai drone in sight, and Nade is just going to miss him, run on by, trying to make it back into kegs, and still pressure from inside of theater now as Geo's gotten 2 kills on the round and rotated top side. He's looking to go for 3 now, battling against Rampy, and there's 3 on the round for him. He's Thinking Nade alone now in a 1v4. He's able to down off Young inside of the penthouse double window. Geo ripping back up the theater stairs, getting that call now, pushing the hallway, tags Thinking Nade once, and a little bit of damage gone back and forth, but Geo will trade with Thinking Nade. It's 4 on the round for Geo, the brand new IGL full-time for Evil Geniuses. And that's EG taking the first round of the second half.
Great round for Geo specifically. That was a 4K. And he kind of put the ball in motion for that round to just go really smooth for his team. Killing those 2 guys in sight and then having those guys up top. The guys up top are now useless because now you don't have sight control. So the second he was able to clear that up, looked really good for EG.
Very good for EG, and very similar play styles we're seeing at least through one round of EG's attack versus the 6 that have been demonstrated for Space Station throughout this game. A little bit of scramble. You get that opening pick on the defensive side, and the attacking side starts to hesitate a little bit, try and change trajectories, as I fail to make words come out of my mouth.
It's okay, I can't talk sometimes.
For Evil Geniuses, though, I really like that adaptation and their ability, again, to weather that kind of chaos. Well, they were spiraling a little bit there, but they regrouped, and they didn't give up on pushing for top control, kind of like Space Station did earlier on in some of those rounds.
Yeah, and that just goes to show you how battle-tested Geo is specifically. Time and time again, I tell you, it's crucial to make sure you get that first opening kill, and a lot of teams end up losing if they do not get the opening kill, and they end up being the opening death. Right there, EG was the opening death, and Geo said, hold my beer, I'm about to do this myself, and he stepped up for his team right there and really opened up the holes. So great play coming out from Evil Geniuses, and Geo really shining right there in that round.
Absolutely, Geo going off for 4 on the round with the F2, and as soon as he does that, he's going to get right on off. He's going to go to the sledge now as Space Station look to try and correct their mistakes on this bomb site, and the flood from Geo really, he was everywhere on that map. You know, he started up top towards like the VIP balcony, got down, pushed in through Lambo, got a couple kills by the bathroom, then he went upstairs and got a couple kills upstairs. He was everywhere, making all the plays happen.
Notice the switch up from Fultz. Fultz was playing the Echo last round. He's now switched over to the Doc. Be a little bit more of a brute force in the site, be able to heal his teammates, heal himself. Necrox with the first kill on to Canadian. I'm not exactly sure where that was at, but that is a good kill.
Beautiful opening pick there for Necrox and the Lion on the theater stairs window repel. Looks like Canadian perished, I don't know where, but NVK is going to attack on as well. It's the bottom of the theater stairs. And Fultz has now died as well. So there goes your Doc. The second EOD detonates, holding 2 members of Space Station upstairs. Bosco, the lone man on site. Thankfully, there's no one from EG pressuring him, as everyone from Evil Genius is preoccupied with clearing out the rest of this top hold. Rampy will fall out, leaving Thinking Nade alone upstairs.
Yep, Geo is assisting with the top clear with Mo and I believe Young. They're taking this top floor. And once they get this top floor, they can start going for the bomb plant. It's going to be a lot easier for them, though, because they are at a 2-man advantage. This is looking like a good round for Evil Geniuses, and I would not be surprised if they win this round right here just because of the top control and the man advantage.
Disrupting all the floorboards possible will be Geo. The last EOD will detonate. It looks like a nitro cell is being prepped here by Thinking Knave, and now being spotted by that Lion EOD. And down to the drone hole as well as NVK, trying to pinch upon him, make sure there's pressure from up above and from outside. This is 3 members for Space Station locked in a bottle right now. And unfortunately for Geo, that drone won't get in, so they can't find pings onto the final 3 members on site. It's taking a little bit of time to assess this, and Rampy is able to make it out into Sunrise. There's no one holding cool vibes for EG, and they're ready to go for a site execute any minute now.
Yeah, notice how, Geo, there he goes with another pick. This round's going really smooth for Evil Geniuses. I was gonna focus on just how focused and calm Space Station is right now. They are a man down, but they're not running around. They're staying in their spots, and they're waiting for EG to make the next move. But losing another player makes it really hard to hold this site, especially with that top control from EG.
It's the last smoke being sent out by Bosco. Rampy's been droned underneath the blue bar camera as well, so he's gonna have to go for a rotate or barrel back into the site to help Bosco. He's alone right now with an SMG-11 being pushed upon by 4 members. Geo again tacks on, having a wonderful game thus far on Coastline. So a 1v5, most likely in a post plant here in just a few moments for Rampy. Keep Space Station in this, or Evil Geniuses will extend their lead. Necroac's not looking the right way, so Rampy gets 1 back. Might be fruitless though, as he's still stuck inside a courtyard, and everyone from Evil Geniuses now evacuate. Make sure they can cover the diffuser from an extremely long range, having the ACOG advantage. And Rampy just trying to pick apart some 1v1s here. He doesn't want to get crossed up from anyone waiting outside. There's still a member playing top control in Geo, so for Rampy here, he's probably just giving the boys a second to regroup and talk about things as he works his way into the lobby, but time is ticking down against him. He's almost at the point now where he has to rush in to get that diffuser down, being sprayed upon from up above the hatch inside of Penthouse. Twisting around and no real direction to go. Picks up another one onto Geo just for good measure to pad the stats. But NVK will shut it down in the end, and Space Station now fall to a 2-round deficit. Man, Geo is just on fire this match. He is just opening so many holes up for his team, and he's not afraid to make any plays. He's a playmaker right now, and this is the Geo we know and love. Absolutely, and for Evil Geniuses, it's a moment to kind of say a little bit of an FU to the former teammate that had abandoned them and left in, as Parker said, to presumably greener pastures. But for Space Station right now, you got to feel good about the position that you're in. You've been able to put yourself in. I can't read that, but it looks like the timer is stopped. We might be getting a tactical timeout. It could be possible we're at a tactical timeout right now. We're going to wait and see what production says. It looks like a possible timeout. It would make sense. If you're taking a timeout, now's the time to do it. So Space Station going to take that tactical timeout and really just see if they can critique or change a little bit of their play style to slow down EG. And honestly, it's Geo. Geo is making insane plays. He's winning his gunfights. And when you have a player that's playing like that, it's hard to stop sometimes. Absolutely. And should be noted as well, both these rosters incredibly fresh. So give it more time and maybe different results, maybe the same results. And that's the thing, you nailed it. The rosters are so new, a lot of questions from both sides of the spectrum and the teams. So we don't really have a lot of answers, but right now, this matchup, there's so much on the line, and you can tell that both of these teams are so passionate about winning this matchup. But let's get back into the match. What round is this? This is round number 9. Round number 9. Let's get into it. It's a 5-3 advantage right now for Evil Geniuses. The dynasty in NA, at the very least, that has made quite the upheaval in terms of a roster move, losing Canadian to their opponents in this current match. Going back to Hookah and billiards now will be Space Station to try and sort out their woes. They've had some difficulties being able to keep their roaming presence alive. They've had some difficulties dealing with the aggression from Geo specifically. And for Evil Geniuses right now, they look like they're firing on all cylinders. Yeah, and notice with the Space Station lineup here, this is going to be a first for us, seeing it on this matchup. Bosco hopping off of the smoke and switching to the mute. So they're focusing here on denying those drones. They're going to stack the mute, stack the Mozzie. On top of that, they're going to have 2 C4s, and then the Echo drone is going to kind of be a replacement for the smoke to really stall out the plant. So this will be interesting because Evil Geniuses do not have a Thatcher and they do not have an IQ.
seconds to insertion.
Now it's all up to Space Station to try and regroup here. There's only 2 rounds remaining that Space Station can toy with. For Evil Geniuses here, you're looking to clamp this down and get this over with quickly, especially after Evil Geniuses had such a long game yesterday with Dark Zero. There's a lot of footage out there for how they play. Don't want to be revealing too much so early on in the tournament with possibly 2 more games to play tomorrow, should you prevail victorious here against Space Station. And for Evil Geniuses, commendations for how they've been playing and how they've been adapting to what Space Station's been throwing at them.
Yeah, and if you compare the 2 teams, Space Station being one of the most consistent teams at this event, Evil Geniuses with a little bit of a rocky start, and even the DZ match, even though they lost that match was so close, it could have gone either way. So the fact that Evil Geniuses is putting up a really good fight for Space Station shows that they're focused up and they're ready to win this map.
Bolt's going to get back on the Echo as well. He toyed with a Doc there in the last round. It didn't really work out so hot for him. And the Lion, seemingly a common presence for both of these teams, which is a little opposite to what we're used to seeing out of both of them. But like I said, you lose a Jackal and you lose a Nomad, there's going to be a lot of mobility. So you have a Lion to try and slow things down in separate moments. Obviously the cooldown, you can't really stack them like you used to be able to do. And for Evil Geniuses, this attack formulating over on the side of Penthouse and Theater, trying to push through VIP and make sure there's nobody roaming down below. 2 opportunities for Nitro Cells that I imagine Bosco and Rampy have both elected to take, and they have indeed. Thank you, Marcio.
Yeah, so you have Bosco up top. He's going to be kind of playing in that smoke position. Rampy down below with that C4 to help deny the plant. Really, right here, Space Station's just kind of waiting to see what Evil Geniuses plan, like their plan of action here. They don't really need to do much. Space Station can just sit here and wait. Evil Geniuses have to be the first one to act, and it looks like Necrox is going to choose to come down into Sunrise, make sure that there's nobody possibly C4ing or roaming down here. They might go for a Hookah plant. I don't know.
Yeah, the stacking right now leads me to believe that they're just going to try and charge through 90 and push up through a Hookah plant, but I haven't really seen those be too successful. Rampy and Canadian have taken a little bit of damage onto the side of Space Station Gaming, and there's a member downstairs in office about to be pinched out, fully blinded. There goes Rampy. 1 member with a Nitro Cell has been dispatched of now for Evil Geniuses. The last EOD will ring out, holding the defenders in place. Necrox tacks onto Thinking Nade, and now things are going super awry here for Space Station. Turning away at the last possible moment will be Geo, as he'll lose his head for it, but MPK on the trade onto Canadian. Rushing through the site, Bosco trades 1 back onto Necrox, but it's still a 3v2 advantage, only 15 seconds remaining. They have to deal with the Echo drones, and 2 members playing over by the Hookah side. Beautiful shots there from Mo, just not enough to finish off onto Bosco. Swinging into the hallway, downs him off. Zelfolt's alone, the pistol in hand, and NVK will put Evil Geniuses on map point in map number 1.
EG coming out swinging. I mean, this matchup is so close. These teams are so evenly matched, and it goes to show you that both of these roster changes made sense for both parties. Unfortunately for SSG, EG coming out a little bit on top, but this match could go either way. These rounds are so close, but EG that much closer to closing it out.
I don't think many people out there were expecting this much separation in the scoreline.
Absolutely, and that's the thing too. Let's not get it twisted. Evil Geniuses are really setting the standard high for this map, and if I'm Space Station right here, I would be worried going into this round.
Especially with Evil Genius's notorious history on Clubhouse, which will be map number 2. That's a dangerous proposition. Again, of course, Canadian, the former IGL of Evil Geniuses, will know a fair amount about what EG is going to be running on Club.
Absolutely. Both teams very familiar with that map. Space Station loves Clubhouse. So does Evil Geniuses. And they have information on both sides. It's going to be a battle on Clubhouse. And don't forget, Space Station picked Clubhouse. So Evil Geniuses will be starting on defense first. And with a win on this map, Clubhouse is going to get scary.
You're going to be in an uphill battle barring some miraculous offensive run. And Canadian now pulling out the Miras. We're just trying to dive into the absolute well of strategies for Space Station, whatever's left in the tank, bring it all out now. As your back's against the wall here on Coastline and Ibiza, and Canadian will be heading in behind the Sunrise bar. For Space Station to be able to stack this up, It's going to be difficult. They're on a site they haven't run just yet because they really haven't had any success in the defense at all. It's 3-3 at the split. 2 attempts on Kitchen, 1 upstairs in Hookah, all unsuccessful so far. The Evil Geniuses really look like they're pulling rounds out of thin air when all hope looks kind of lost. Like there's 15 seconds left, 10 seconds left, and they're charging into the gates and they're getting those kills.
And that's both teams playing that way. Spacestation also really slow on the attack. EG also really slow on the attack. And EG's just winning the battles at the end. The ones that matter, they're closing it out. It's unfortunate that you see both teams running the clock, but EG just really setting the standard in the final seconds, showing how dominant they are with not a lot of time.
I think both of these teams have started off rounds pretty similarly in terms of separation, but Evil Geniuses have been playing the trade game late round so much better than SSG did on their attacks.
Absolutely, and that just goes to show you just quick decision making, and making that right decision determines if you win that round or not.
Not a whole lot of action thus far here as Evil Geniuses going for the clear upstairs on the far side of the map and working their way over. Necrox will utilize his first EE1D. Hold some defenders in place, but as I say that, pushing down the Cool Vibe stairs, Necrox felled by Canadian on that Vector with the Mira. Not an operator you get to see through the ban phase all that often, and even when she does, honestly, it's far and few between you see a Mira these days.
Yeah, MVK watching the rotate, watching the flank, making sure no one's going to come up and catch their team off guard. Now that they have that top control, they can start making a little bit of holes. They do not have a buck, but you still have operators that are going to make those holes and make and at least clear out the Sunrise bar. MVK with a kill into Rampy to tie things up here. This round's really close. There's only a minute left, and Evil Geniuses is going to have to go for the plant. Space Station not moving. MVK with another kill on a Bosco. That was from Blue Bar.
Thinking Nade just missing. NVK walked right in front of him through his bullet holes, and NVK is going on a rampage now with the F2. Finally put to rest now by Thinking Nade in the kitchen, but it cost 2 of his teammates' lives for it. The smoke bolts come raining down into the objective, and Canadian playing right up against the Sunrise window. The plant going down on top of couches with coverage from Geo. Ripping through the smoke, but the ping's coming out. Canadian whiffing a lot of bullets, but finally able to pick up 1. Has to go for the knife onto 2. Mo will take down Thinking Nade, so it's down to the 1v1 in a post plant. The knife took just a second too long, and now sticking the defuse will be Canadian. Mo tearing down the stairs, ripping around the corner, but Canadian won't get off. Evil Geniuses will take coastline, 7-3.
Wow.